Hello everyone! Today I will be showing you a speed build of my Cozy Fall Pumpkin Cafe. I started this build before I ended up deciding to record, so that's why it's partially built already. With fall coming, I wanted to build something that captures the autumn season vibes and upcoming spooky season sweater weather cozy pumpkin spice sleigh. And here you can see I'm adding a second floor, like a fake second floor, to the build and taking away all the windows and stuff so that I could add the frieze how I wanted it. It's just a little Sims hack, I suppose. Another Sims tip that I use quite a bit is when you only want the frieze on one of the walls, you hit your shift button and it'll only put the frieze on the wall that you have your mouse currently, which I think is super useful. This is me messing with the windows. I could not find a window that I was happy with until I found this one from My Wedding Stories, which I really love to use that window quite a bit. So this is me trying to decide whether I want the frieze in the front or not, which I decided against ultimately because I thought it looked better. Though I was really struggling with these windows for some reason, especially in the back. I didn't know which way to go with them, and I ended up redoing them in the middle of the build, which you'll see soon. I really wanted to use the windows from the new Enchanted by Nature pack because I really liked the odd shape of them for this build, which is why I mostly stuck to those ones. There's just something so whimsical about them, and I just really love them. And I was obviously in Innisgreen on the big tree lot, and I just thought it was the perfect windows, as well as the perfect lot for a cute little pumpkin cafe. And here I am using a debug fence from Life and Death to go around the perimeter of the property because I think it's very cute and Halloweeny, and I think it just fits really well in the area. And I doubled it up here where it was not quite meeting, but it looked good anyway. And then I start with the trees, which is one of my favorite parts. I love doing trees. I'm very picky with my trees, but I think the trees I chose really fit the property. They were the ones also from Life and Death, the fall colored ones, and I think they look super cute on the build. And here we're finally going inside. So I expanded this room. It was originally very small, but I expanded it, and I used another doorway from Enchanted by Nature, did all the flooring, got rid of the internal walls, and placed all of the outdoor things back outside from the original design of the build. I finish taking out the walls and copy the wallpaper onto the other rooms, as well as add lighting, which is very important. I always yell at my boyfriend because he never puts lighting in and is constantly working in the dark, which is crazy to me. And here I'm trying to decide on a door. I ultimately went with that one. I thought that one was really cute. Adding the rest of the walls and the floor color as well. And then here I am starting on the kitchen, using the cabinets from Enchanted by Nature. And I chose these stoves, but I ended up moving them later because I wanted them next to each other, And the sink would fit perfectly under that window anyway, so I decided on that in the end. And I went with that fridge to match with the stoves. And here I am changing it after realizing the sink would be much better underneath that window. And then I use the island for a kitchen island and put in the matching bar stools, and then I start with the upper cabinets, putting them all along. I end up having to replace them because the fridge was too tall for it, but that's okay. So we just rearranged them a little bit and it worked out in the end. And then we go for a little chandelier over the kitchen island. I first go with that one, but I was technically already looking for the mushroom one. I thought that was going to be the perfect fit, and it was. And now we're going for the little living area with the sofa from Enchanted by Nature. And I put the moss carpet in, which I thought was cute. I tried different fireplaces, but I didn't quite enjoy any of them. So I decided to go with a television instead, and I went for the one from the Cozy Celebration event. And then I go for a TV stand, and I end up going for a console table to use as a TV stand. I used the one from Horse Ranch because I thought it fit the rustic kind of pumpkin vibe we have going on. And then I placed the chair, the matching one. Take away those doors because I didn't like them, and went with another door from Enchanted by Nature. And finally I start decorating with the tables that I wasn't quite happy with, so I take that away, and I just keep trying different placements for the tables. And I try a little seating area, but I end up not going with the seating area in the end. It was supposed to be like a little book nook, but I decided against it. I wasn't really a big fan of the chair colors and just how it was fitting into the cafe. So I take that away in a little while. I tried to make it work, but it just wasn't working. And here I am adding the rest of the tables, which I did like the placement of. And finally I take it away, and I end up putting another table there, which I originally had. And then in a minute you can see my indecisiveness with all of the carpet options. I promised myself I would not go for my favorite carpet, but in the end I end up going for one of my favorite carpets anyway. It just fit okay. Does it matter if I use it like in every build? I don't think so. Anyway, still me trying out carpets, but I really wasn't sold on any of them until I get to my favorite one, which is the one from Laundry Day. But dang, looking back on this now, I really could not decide on a carpet. Oh, there we go, there's my favorite one. And here I am adding it underneath all of the tables. And I try another table, but I did not think that Sims would be able to get through there, so I just took it away. And here I am putting all of the little accents on each of the tables. I think using the pumpkins with the little flowery candle makes it look super folly and cozy. And then I try to start with the wall accents. I really like this one from Enchanted by Nature that's coming up. I end up taking that one away and going for some vines over the windows. And after this, you'll see where I end up changing the windows because I did not like how the window was split in half in the middle. So I end up changing that completely. So it'll be on each side of the wall instead of cut through in the middle. And I adjust the vine, and oh my gosh, doesn't that look so much better. So I'm also trying more wall decorations on this wall. I try a wreath on that door and I end up going for a different wreath later on. I try a whole bunch of decorations from Seasons expansion pack, but also I wasn't completely sold on them. I keep trying these different decorations, but I do like this one from Vampires, this little folly tree, and I end up putting it on that wall, and I end up going for a different wreath, as I said before. And I use this picture shelf from one of the newest creator kits. And I rearranged the bathroom so it looks better with the new window placement. And put some vines over the doors and changed the menu background because I found one that I liked better. I just think it fits so much better in the space. And finally we're heading upstairs, so I'm taking away the original bedroom that I had, adding the ladder that you can access from outside, and adding a new little archway. And we're gonna start on the bedroom. I had so much trouble picking out a bed, and I end up changing the positioning. At first I have it this way in the room, and then I turn it and have it next to the other window. And here we're adding lighting because we don't like working in the dark here, so I add lighting, and I'm messing with the coloring of the bed and the rugs, which I tried one from Enchanted by Nature, but I didn't find a swatch that I quite liked. So I went with the one from the Werewolves, which happens to be one of my favorite carpets of all time, and I use it everywhere. It has such good swatches, and I love how there's one more rugged, worn rug, and then one of the more pristine versions of it. I just think it is such a nice touch, but I end up selling it for now. I do bring it back, but I sold it for now, trying different beds and different rugs as well. I tried the moss rug here under this bed, but ended up just not liking it. And here I am bringing back the other carpet, resizing it with the tool mod, which is my best friend. Seriously, genuinely cannot live without my tool mod. And here I finally decide on a bed, and I'm searching for some different night tables now. I tried the one from Enchanted by Nature, and I ultimately end up going with the one from the Life and Death pack. I love how they have like little books underneath. I just think that's such a cute little touch. So I really like that one, and now I'm trying to find a little something for the end of the bed. I try some different console tables, but ultimately end up going with the little trunks from Werewolves again. And I use the Enchanted by Nature dresser, and I go for some wall art, and ultimately ended up going with the wall vines instead over the windows. And I went for bookshelves in the middle instead of wall art or like a wall decoration, and I think it looks so much better. And then here I'm looking for the vines for over the windows, which I think looks really nice. And I tried moving the dresser, but I didn't really like it there, so I put a mirror there instead, and I think it looks a lot better. Again, more vines, and I put a different mirror in this corner along with the plant and the little blanket basket. And I start clearing out the rest of the items and putting a desk there. I used the one from Enchanted by Nature, along with the desk chair from Enchanted by Nature and the little typewriter. And then I do a little bit of an overview of the entire place, just making sure, and I realize that I'm gonna need a chandelier or something over the bed, and I go with the one from Businesses and Hobbies. And now after this, I realized only later that I lost about an hour and a half of footage. So this is me showing you what I've done so far since I've lost all my footage, just all the extra little details I added in the bathroom and in the kitchen and whatnot. All the little details that I recorded but lost in the end. All the desk details and the rest of the details in the bedroom. But what can you do? So we're starting off here. I added another little mushroom chair, and now I'm adding some extra bookshelves. I had changed the bookshelves to the ones from Enchanted by Nature, the tree ones, and I think they just fit better than the other ones. And I'm just adding extra books so that the bookshelves look more full and vibrant. And another little trick that I do, because I shrunk the bookshelves down a size, I end up putting books as like placeholders where the slots are, and then I'll be able to add wherever I want afterwards with the Option key or the Alt key, as well as raising them with the 9 key. And now I'm going to be decorating the dresser with some jewelry and like an apothecary little chest. And I use the same trick with using the placeholder item, so that way I can move the objects where I would like. And here I'm adding some pumpkins because you can't have a pumpkin cafe without pumpkins. So I add them to each side of the bookshelves, and I think they look really cute and really tie the room together. And now we're going outside and just adding some grass and stuff along the fence line, making sure it all lines up nicely. And now we're doing the shrubs along the fence line, wanting to make sure that they're even and pretty looking, lining up with the tree okay, making sure they look nice. And now I'm adding some leaves because it's fall and you need leaves absolutely everywhere. I decide to change the mushroom color again, and I take away the bench that I didn't think quite fit there. And here I'm about to change my entire design. I'm gonna add a back door to the cafe because I decided to make a back dining patio. So this is me drawing the room for it. I decided to make it a little bit smaller, and I took away all the walls, and then I'm trying to decide on a flooring. I could not decide on one that I quite liked until I found the one from Castle Estate. I think that one with the swatch that I chose is incredibly pretty. and just the perfect fit for this outdoor patio. And now I decided to add a fence around the border. I changed my mind and put the other fence from Enchanted by Nature, and I added some tables and chairs, as many as I could squeeze in this patio. And then I did the little decorations on top of the tables. Same like inside with the flower candle and the little pumpkins, which I thought was really cute. Keep the theme going, and then we're gonna add some posts. I decided to go with the same ones that are on the house, and then connected the post with a cute little diagonal roofing pattern. I love this design. I think it's super cool, and it's really fun to bust out all the flooring after. Very satisfying too. And then we're adding some spandrels along the sides of it. I tried a freeze, but I didn't like how it covered up the spandrels, so I decided against it. And then we're just taking an overview of it, making sure that it looks okay. And then we're going over to this side to create a little pumpkin patch. So I decided to use the fence from Cottage Living and the gate that goes with it, moving the bushes so that they're not interfering with the fence. And then we start with the pumpkins. I started with those ones and then went to the ones from Cottage Living, and I like the look of those better, so I do end up taking the ones from Seasons out. And I just keep adding the pumpkins, alternating between the orange and the white and the green, making sure they look organizedly disorganized. And I just keep adding until I'm happy with it. I even use the tool mod to resize some of the pumpkins so that they're not all the same size, alternating between the shapes as well. And here I am with the finished pumpkin patch. I decided to change the color of the fence, just make it a little bit lighter. And now I'm going to be adding some more pumpkins around, because you cannot have too many pumpkins at a pumpkin cafe. It's just impossible to do. Adding more pumpkins and then some more leaves, because it just makes everything better. Adding leaves around the hay bales and the trees, making sure they look like they've been falling off the trees. Adding some in the corners. You really cannot have too many leaves in a fall build. Then I look for a mailbox and I find the Enchanted by Nature one, and I also go with a little bench, one of the wood log ones. I think that really fit well there. And then adding more and more leaves, and you can't go wrong. Now I'm adding the final details outside. I added a couple more hay bales near the pumpkin patch, as well as some more leaves, and I did a little bit of a flower bed as well as a well for the front of the build. It's kind of overgrown looking, and a wagon wheel. And I tried some hay bales here, but I didn't think they quite fit, so I took them away and instead put a planter as well as some seeds. I'm assuming they're pumpkin seeds because, hello, pumpkin cafe. And then I put this little apothecary little table on the other side of the build, a cutie little sign and bike at the front, and then I'm trying to do some roof decorations. I tried with the ones from Cottage Living, the little squirrels and stuff, but I ultimately decided against them. And you need a chimney in a build like this because it's just so cute. So I went with that one from Get Together, and I was looking for something to put along the roof line, a fence or something, but I ultimately went with one from Life and Death, a roof decoration. And I used the tool mod to lower them slightly, but at first I didn't like how it looked, and then I put it on the bottom roof, and I did the same thing with the tool mod, and then I liked it much better, so I decided to go with the lowered version of it. As you can see here, I'm only lowering it about 0.5, but it works and it is the perfect height for both of the roofs. And then I try to use the animal decoration from Cottage Living once again, but it just really didn't fit and didn't look as how I wanted it to, so I ended up just ixnaying it altogether, even though it's such a cute little roof design. And then I'm just adding some more leaves around, and I go to do another little overview just to see where we're at, and I noticed that that part in the middle is a little bit empty, so I decided to add a rabbit's home as well as a bird home, like the Wild Flock of Bird home, and I think it turned out really cute. Just imagining all the little bunnies and birds flying around while you're eating out on the patio. I think that's such a cute little idea. And then we go back inside and I add another little lantern and I look for a rug, and I ultimately choose the one from the Cozy Celebration event with the pumpkins, which I thought was the perfect fit there. It's just such a cute rug. I love using it. And now we'll be doing just a little final walkthrough, making sure that everything's how I like it, and checking out the kitchen, making sure all my details are in place, checking out the outside, the upstairs, making sure everything is how I want it, and going back outside again. I decided to add some more pumpkins in the corner. I mean, again, you can never go with too many pumpkins for a pumpkin cafe. And just adding another little jack-o'-lantern here in this little flower pot, which I thought was cute. And then we'll do another quick little overview of the outside, making sure everything is how I want it, and then we'll go inside quickly and just place another table in the corner, making sure it's not obstructive, and then adding a little rug, and voila! The pumpkin cafe is finished. It's my speed build. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I did making it. See you all on the next one. Okay, love you. Bye.